Right, going back to the top story, India celebrating Good Governance Day, coinciding with the 99th birth anniversary of the country's late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Joining me is Mr. Prafulla Ketkar. Mr. Ketkar is the editor of Organiser Weekly. Mr. Ketkar, welcome to DD India News Up. First up, I want to ask you, how do you view 10 years of India celebrating Good Governance Day?
See, Ramesh, in 2014, when this idea was instituted to commemorate 25th December, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's birthday as Good Governance Day, there were many critics, there were many, skeptics about this. But what we have seen, two clear-cut things. One, as far as the, governance-related parameters and the legacy that was set by Mr. Vajpayee, that is definitely taken forward. The way, for instance, I would like to make two important, reminders. One, about infrastructure.
Right.
Atalji was the first Prime Minister who realized the importance of connectivity and who actually set the targeted process for connecting all the corners of India, not just through highways, but even for the rural infrastructure. And now if we see in the last 10 years since we started Good Governance Day, we see a phenomenal advancement in that direction. Again, Mr. Vajpayee's era, we started this schemes related to education or health. So last mile delivery was one of the key objectives of his idea of governance. Now, if we see the way, this government is now trying to use technology, the way, entire administration is being trained for that.
Right.
And things are delivered from food to health services, how they are delivered on the ground. That I think is the best, you cannot have a best kind of tribute to your leader by taking his ideas forward.
Mr. Ketkar, what you just said just now about technology gives me a perfect segue to my next question. But before that, let me just take a moment to quote what Prime Minister Modi said way back in 2014 when he launched the maiden Good Governance Day. He said, and I'm quoting him, "I strongly believe that technology can and must bridge the divide between the government and the citizens. Technology is an empowering tool for the citizen and an accountability medium for the government," unquote. Now, do you think the Good Governance Day over the last 10 years has succeeded in inculcating a culture of transparency and accountability in the way government functions?
Absolutely. See, not just in India, all over the world, accountability, transparency, participation, and delivery.
Right.
These are broadly considered as the good governance parameters. Now, if you see what we have done, if we have taken, millions of gas cylinders, delivered to households, or households are delivered to millions of families, or drinking water taps are now reached to reaching to each and every household, or electricity supply is ensured to each and every household and village. Now, these are remarkable achievements, but how did we achieve that?
Right.
For Ramesh, I got the integrated government officers training program and the Pragati.
Right.
The mechanism to actually assess the performance of each and every department, and if there is any skill gap as far as the delivery is concerned, then that somewhere that skill gap has to be bridged, and for that some training has to be. Now that training every time cannot be physical,
Right.
so there is also a technological platform
Absolutely.
available for that. So if we see all these things at one click, if we can actually track how many villages, how many households are actually now electrified, that is basic parameter of transparency. And now because this is transparent, the concerned officer or politician or whoever is the person is accountable.
Absolutely. True.
So, and the beauty of this is that besides transparency and accountability, on many fronts, it is the Prime Minister taking it forward that he tried to make many of these programs and schemes more participatory.
Right.
So they have become mass movement. Even Good Governance Day, for that matter, when Good Governance Week is celebrated just before 25th of December, many programs are organized. People are made aware of, what they can ask for, what is their right, how accountability and transparency can be ensured in the entire government system. So this is also a kind of sensitization program for the larger masses. That again is very important, because just being accountable and transparent is not sufficient.
Right.
But being the people ultimately who are the beneficiaries of this transparency and accountability should be sensitized enough about all these processes.
Absolutely. Also, Mr. Ketkar, in the last 10 years, India has made rapid strides in harnessing technology for the benefit of the common person or the common people. Some would say India's digital public infrastructure is a role model for the world. So my question to you is this: can the world learn from India's successes in digital public infrastructure?
Oh, certainly. The way we have, 2, 3 areas we can definitely, and the world is already learning. Our UPI is the classic example of this.
Right.
Already 17 countries have adapted UPI, and there are 16 or 17 who are ready to go ahead with it. So it is going to be, and the kind of transactions that we are having, the volume that we are having, it is unimaginable anywhere in the world. And that is also with a very light technology and still very effective and secure technology.
Right.
So this is one part that the world can definitely learn from India. Two, when it comes to bringing transparency in justice delivery system. Now, for example, most of the dates, judgments, the way hearings are taking place online, and now with new laws, the way we are moving ahead for a very effective justice delivery system with the help of technology.
Right.
You can register an FIR wherever you are. Your zero FIR can be transferred within a few weeks, and then the police department has a mandatory role to file the charge sheet. Judiciary has a mandatory role to deliver justice. So if we, I have already, mentioned about the delivery of public goods.
Right.
We have shown that during COVID, even COVID app. COVID app is such a wonderful example, not just of using technology for delivery of vaccines, but also making that available immediately then and there, the certification process. And the beauty of it is, Ramesh, when many of the countries, especially in Africa, needed it, we never fought on or charge them in the name of patents.
Right.
Again, India is showing it differently, that we just don't say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Our idea for global governance are also different. Though we
Absolutely.
believe in basic principles of good governance, which are applicable everywhere, we still have a different worldview, which is more inclusive, which is not just based on self-interest and profiteering, but ultimately wherever and whenever it is possible, we would always strive for Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina.
Indeed.
That is the happiness for all.
What you say, Mr. Ketkar, remind me of Prime Minister Modi's mantra of developed in India for the world. Now, let me ask you one final question. If you can talk to our viewers as well about the life and legacy of the late Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Any anecdotes you want to share with our viewers?
Oh, there are many, but perhaps one that I cherish the most, when he had to resign after a short duration of 13 days of government, and he could not muster the majority on the floor of the house. What he said, that sarkari aayingi jayingi, partiya banegi bigdegi. That means the governments will come and go, parties will be formed and decimated. What is important is that this country should be alive, the democracy of this country should be alive. He inherently believed that Bharat, India is not just a country, it's an idea based on the principles of democratic values. And therefore, for that, he always stood for. And that is, I know, actually made, after remaining in for almost 40 years in opposition consistently, he rose to the position of Prime Minister, and that shows the kind of faith he had in the process of democracy. And he actually shown to the world, because if Congress was the system after independence, it was the thought process of Janasangha, and now BJP actually gave the alternative to the traditional Congress thought process. So, and without strong opposition and clear-cut alternative model of thinking, you cannot have a vibrant democracy. And Mr. Vajpayee stood for that. Another aspect of good governance is responsible and strong, both responsible and strong opposition. So when needed, he was a responsible and strong opposition. When needed, he was a strong and still humble, actually ruling leader. That differentiated Atalji from many other leaders, I believe.
All right. On that note, may I thank you, Mr. Ketkar, for joining us and sharing your thoughts and views with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.